Olá, I'm Ana Santos from PT4U Portuguese Lessons Online. And guess what? It's time for one more video of the video of the week, basically, always dedicated to help you in practicing in the premises. It's always good to hear and practice. This week, these last times, we've been going through a technical path. I hope it helps you understanding the language and give you some nice tips and clues how to manage with this language. Meanwhile, you can check my Facebook page, PT4U Portuguese Lessons Online by Ana Santos. It's me. And all this content is in my web page, pt4u.wordpress.com. All these videos and many more in my YouTube channel. And for those who want challenges, why not to hear my podcasts in the SoundCloud or Castbox Por Terras de Portugal. It's a podcast dedicated to know a little bit more about different places in Portugal, cities, places, monuments, mountains, landscapes, where you can find the best of Portugal. And today, what did I prepare for you? Still in directions, this week will be the last week about directions in the idea of repeat and at the same time use the verbs that we practice with directions in order to conjugate them, to bend them in different persons. In this case, nós e eles. And why is so important to this idea of conjugate? Especially for those who come from German languages, you don't need to conjugate. You need to use the person behind. We don't need the person behind because the information, all the information of who is talking is inside the verb. So this means that all different persons have the information. We can skip that pronoun, I, you, he, she, because information is inside. That's why it's so important to understand it. And last week we made the big separation. All the verbs except one. I'll tease you and I won't say which one. Finish with ad, er, or ir. In the last week, we made the big separation, the two big families, the verbs with ar and verbs with er and ir. I invite you to go back and see the videos that I've been doing these last weeks. And today we'll go and separate it even more, a little bit more, with the verbs between ed and ir. They're very similar in Portuguese, just with some slightly difference that today is important. And I will use the bending of the verb in the form we and they in order to explain it. Are you ready? So first, the part of repetition. Always the idea of verbs and vocabulary that we use when we discuss some situations. And here you have the translation down. I'm just going with the pronunciation. Descer até, escolher, correr para, seguir, conduzir, subir a rua, sair na próxima, à direita ou à esquerda. Of course, here you have some verbs that you may not use when you're going through. The idea was, as you see, the first three finish with ed, and the last ones finish with ir. That's why you have escolher here and correr. Maybe you're not, I thought about some verbs that you can use when you talk about directions and in order to explain the next slide that is coming. So let's see what comes next. And here we are. We have now the verbs with ed first. And what you have here, so always the same idea. From the verbs, you take away the ed, in this case. So descer, escolher, correr, you remove it. And if you want to say we go down, we choose, and we run, it's only after removing the ed, you put hemos. And that's why you have descemos, escolhemos, corremos. And with it, see here the small difference? I have the verbs always removing the finishing, but now for the first time, before it was hemos that you would add to make the we form, here you make imos, seguimos, conduzimos, subimos, saímos. So every time it's a we form, you put hemos or imos, depending on where it finishes with ed or if it finishes with it. And now the they form. They form, don't forget that in Portuguese can be eles or elas. The same idea, remove the edge and then you put I. And this M is very special, even though if it's with EM, you smile and you don't say M. You say I'm with a smile in your face. Don't forget, Portuguese always smile when they talk, and it's because of that. Because we're nice, I agree totally with you, but also because our language demands it. So, see my mouth. Descem, escolhem, correm. Immediately you need to make a small smile in order to make this sound. Ein, ein. Descem, escolhem, correm. And what you're saying in this idea is they go down, they choose, they run. And see, I did it here on purpose. I'm not writing eles or elas, the they form in Portuguese, before the verb. Again, we don't need it. Immediately information is inside the verb because as you've been seeing, all the bendings, all the conjugations are different. So we know per se who is talking about. And now let's go with the they form in with ir. And here we are. This time is exactly the same, not like the we form. And we have with seguir, conduzir, subir e sair. You can go back and remember the meanings. Always the plus M, always with a smile. Seguem, conduzem, sobem, saem. So this has been a very more, not very, but a more technical videos. In my next week, I'm planning to sum up all of these ideas, all of this information. It's my plan. So you'll have a video dedicated to all the bending of the verbs and with all the informations in the same video. And then after that, my plan is to go to do a role play in the city. I think it's a good way of closing this moment. So don't forget, so go to my Facebook page. Every day you have different things that you can hear, that you can look, that you can know about Portugal, and the informations are all gathered in my pt4u.wordpress.com. So I hope you have a great week. I hope this helps in some way, and don't forget, please have fun.